Hi, this is Raina Carrillo with Purpose and Passion. I'm really excited. Today I have a transformational coach by the name of Matt Santos. So I'm really excited today to introduce you because you know how I am. I usually have female guests all the time, but when I get a male presence, I'm really excited because I love to share everybody's story. So, hey,
How you doing? How you
what's up,
doing?
Matt?
I'm excited.
I
Thank
know
you.
I
Thank you.
am too.
It's an honor to be here.
Yes,
Yeah.
I want you to touch up before we go back down memory lane, but touch up on the purpose pusher.
Okay.
That's important.
Right. So obviously I was drawn to your page by the title itself. So I call myself a purpose pusher
Yes.
because like a lot of times like the motivational speaker name or title gets, used a lot, but I believe that
Yes.
motivation typically lasts as long as the motivator's there. Right. So when
Yes.
you're in the gym, you got headphones on, you're motivated. As soon as you take them off, it's like reality hits.
Yes.
But when you find purpose and you're able to push purpose into people and out of people, that's a
Yes.
commitment. Motivation is how, typically
Pumping you up.
driven. Yeah, how you feel
Mhm.
that day. I need to get motivated.
Yes.
But purpose is a commitment. It's a dedication. It's passion.
Yes.
So purpose pusher was bigger for me. It was more than just motivating people, but it was helping people find their
Yes.
purpose and pushing that.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, I'm happy you're sharing that because, when I think about the podcast, I think about purpose and passion. So for many years, at the age of 15, I don't know where it came from, but from me inside, I feel God pushed it out my mouth to say mayor. I'm going to run for mayor. I was 15 years old, an at-risk youth, and I was already creating obituaries in junior high.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So I already claimed that by the age of 18, I was going to get murdered and gunned down through the gang and gun violence in Inglewood.
Right.
And so that did almost happen. So in 97, a few months before my senior graduation, I was almost gunned down by one of my people I knew.
Mhm.
And so with that to say, finding your purpose,
Right.
like after that incident, I knew like it's either I'm going to go to prison for life for murder for retaliation, or do I go the right way and just talk to God? And I did. I got on my knees that night and
Right.
I cried to that man. I
Right.
cried to God. I said, look, I felt like you abandoned me when I was molested,
Mhm. Mhm.
But I always tell people it's so easy for us as humans to blame God and not the devil.
Right.
We always forget about the devil when it's bad things.
Right.
You know what I mean? When it's
Right.
bad things, we
Right.
want to blame God,
Yeah.
but we should be blaming the devil because he comes to kill, steal, and destroy.
Absolutely.
And God comes to give us life.
Right.
So when I made that kind of like a commitment to him, like if you show yourself spiritually, physically,
Mhm.
mentally something,
Right.
I promise to you I'll give back to the community and I'll change my life.
Right.
And he did spare me. And so through the journey, I kept living life. I was kind of lost, but
Mhm.
I knew my purpose, but I wasn't living in my purpose.
Right.
Reflecting now, I'm 43 years old, so I'm reflecting now.
Mhm.
And eventually I started walking into my purpose,
Right.
right?
Right.
And then I ran for mayor of Inglewood this year.
Love it.
You know what I mean?
Love it.
So I always tell people my dream didn't come true, but I'm still a winner
Right.
because we still have 2026
Right.
for me to go at it for one more time, right?
Right.
If it's meant for me to go for it again.
Right.
But I think it's important to have purpose. Once you know your purpose, then you have that passion to continue,
Right.
right? The passion.
Absolutely.
So now I'm going to, because I know my viewers love to hear like history about people.
Right.
So Matt, where were your parents from and where were you born and raised?
Okay. Before I say that, let
Yes.
me tell you something.
Okay.
Mayor
Mm-hmm.
is only a title.
Yes, it is.
It's your service.
Yes.
So you may not have gotten the title,
Yes.
but what you're doing here, with your platform, what you do in the community,
Yes.
that's what God wants, is the service.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
No,
so
I hear
my
you.
mom told me one critical thing when I got a chance to be on Maury Povich, right?
Mhm.
Speaking Out of Control Teens. And I said, I couldn't believe I got it. I'd never been on TV. I never did this. And she said,
Yes.
God's resume is bigger than man's resume.
Yes.
And when God sees you fit, God's seeing you doing this work. So you are
Yes.
a mayor. In God's eyes, you're a mayor in the community. Like it's your
Yes.
service that makes you powerful.
And I
And so
love
that's
that
what
you
I love
share
about
that.
that.
I
Yeah.
love that you share that because do you know people, when I had to announce on December 5th, like my letter of, I
Mhm.
didn't win, right? People were inboxing me like, you're still my mayor.
Right.
They're like Inglewood residents talking about, you're still my mayor. You're still my mayor.
Right.
You're Mayor Raina. I don't care what
Yeah.
what anything.
Facts.
So when you share that with me, it just soaked in.
Confirmation.
Yeah, it was a confirmation like, okay,
Yeah.
all right. Because I always told people the mayor title is not what I want,
Right.
meaning like the because it's a
Right.
title.
Right.
I said, because God showed me that the mayor's title means servant. So
Hmm.
if Jesus can wash people's feet,
Right.
he's humble.
Right.
Therefore, I'm humble. I want to be a servant to my community.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank
Yeah.
you. It's a
Yeah.
confirmation.
Yeah. I had to say those
No, no, no.
songs.
And that's
So
good because I always tell people like purpose and passion is just not like your typical podcast, right? Where it's
right.
just like questions and answers, question, answer. It's more of a we're talking in the living room. It's like a natural, organic
Well, it's an impartation.
conversation.
It's an
Yes.
impartation.
Yes.
If we're just talking and no one's receiving anything, then it's just chatter. But
Yes.
if you're pouring into me, I'm pouring into you, and we're
We
receiving
definitely
this.
going to be pouring into our viewers.
Yeah, this is an impartation, and
Yes.
that's what it's supposed to be about, and that's being of service to one another.
Yes, I agree.
So,
Thank you so much.
your question now, I'm sorry.
Yes. So, where were your parents from, and where were you born and
So
raised, and
I
how
was
was your
actually
childhood?
born in Santa Ana, raised primarily in the IE,
Hmm.
Ontario, Upland area. But back and forth between the IE and Compton. So a lot of my family was in the south side of Compton.
Okay.
So I was back and forth there a lot. So I got a mixture of both worlds growing up.
Yes, of course,
You
and
know,
there's a big difference.
oh, big difference, yeah. And then my parents
Hmm.
split when I was around junior high.
So,
So
how did you get the last name Santos?
it's Cape Verdean, right?
Ah,
Portuguese,
yes,
right? A mixture of Portuguese
Portuguese.
and African. So the Cape Verdean Islands are a group of islands
Yes.
off the western coast of Africa.
Amber Roses.
Yeah.
That's her
Hmm.
culture, right? Her
Right.
ethnicity and everything. Yeah.
Hmm.
I Googled it because I didn't know. Because like when you were growing, like, I'm Mexican, but I'm mixed Creole. So I was like, dang, she looked like some of my cousins from
Right.
Louisiana.
Right.
And then I Googled
Right.
her and I seen and I was like, what is
Absolutely.
that? And I Googled and I was like, oh, it's just like a bunch of Louisiana people on another island.
Right. Really. Yeah,
Yeah.
real talk.
So that's awesome. So okay,
Yeah.
Santos. All right, okay. Because I was like, that's a
It's
unique
unique,
name.
right? Yeah. I used to get mail in Spanish all the time. I didn't understand it. You know what I mean?
Because of the last name.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my God. So that's beautiful just to know, your background.
Yeah.
Culture is so important to
Right.
people. I enjoy culture. I always tell people, I don't know what it is. Maybe I was Italian in the last lifetime. I don't know.
Mhm.
But I love Italian culture, the food,
right.
the language. I just, I
Yeah.
just soak into it like, wow, it's
Yeah.
so different.
Well, I thought I was Puerto Rican till about 6 years old. And the teacher was like, keep saying he's Puerto Rican. She's like, no, he's Portuguese. I didn't know the
Yeah,
difference.
I know
So
what you mean. Oh my God, that is
yeah.
so funny. And people thought I was Puerto Rican the whole time. I'm like, no, I'm Mexican mixed with Creole. That's where you see, a little mixture in there.
Right.
They're
It's a
like,
flavor there.
okay,
It's a
yeah,
flavor
it
there.
definitely is a lot of flavor up in
Right.
there.
Right.
But so what was your as a child? What was your dream or vision? Because I know when I was in elementary in the second grade, before I got all caught up into the streets, I remember the teacher asking me, "What do you want to be when you grow up, Raina?" I was like, "I want to be the president of the United States
Right.
or a ballerina."
Right. Okay.
So I wanted you to
I
know
can see
what
that.
was your vision and goal
Um,
as a child,
right. Well, I mean, I grew up sports.
Yes.
Everybody in my family played sports, so it was NBA or NFL. That was my dream.
Yes.
But I'm thankful for it because it taught me so much.
Yes.
So the position I played was as a point guard. It was being a leader of the team,
Yeah.
knowing where everyone had to be,
Yes.
and being responsible for the plays being ran or called.
Yes.
So I didn't understand how important that would be in my life later on.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like we say, you want to make God laugh, tell him what your plans are.
Yes.
Right. And so,
Yes.
but those seeds that were planted, definitely has helped in my transition. But yeah, so basketball was my thing, but always
Okay.
helping people
Yes.
was my gift. So even as a kid, like my mom would laugh, like, why are all these older people calling this house for like for your advice? Or like she'll hear me on the
'Cause
phone
you're an
or
old soul.
old soul. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yes, definitely. So, now that you said as a youngster you were into sports.
Mhm.
When you got in, did you graduate from high school and go to college and play sports, or
I
what
did
happened?
graduate. I
Hmm.
graduated from high school, Upland High School, and then I ended up going to Pasadena City College.
Okay.
And I was going to play there, and then that's when things started to kind of shift. I was living with my father at the
Yes.
time. He got injured and couldn't pay the rent, or just needed money,
Yes,
extra
of
money.
course.
So I had a choice to make, right? Like play
Or be
or
responsible.
help provide.
Yes.
And so that kind of instantly threw me in the mix.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
I do.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
They might not know, but I
Right, yeah.
know.
Instantly, it's like,
Had to
okay,
instantly hustle.
right, right. And get out there and make things happen. And
Yes.
then, when you're somewhat a product of your environment
Hmm.
and the access that you have to things, I was a very social person.
Yeah.
So, I know a lot of people
Whatever you
and
needed was.
yeah. And at one point where it was
Yes.
like a form of protection where they were like, keep balling, keep doing your thing.
Yes.
And now it's like, hey, I need some help. And it's like, well, okay,
Here you go.
you
Yes,
know.
yes.
So that was kind of a big turning point in my
Definitely.
life. Yeah.
Of course, definitely. And so through your trial and tribulations, what made you shift your mentality, your mindset to go into coaching? Because obviously there's like a
Yeah.
story behind
Yeah,
this,
definitely.
and I want you to share that story.
I mean, I believe that everybody has a purpose.
Yes.
And if you're living in your purpose or not by
Yes.
being unfulfilled, right? So I would do things, I would make good money, a lot of money,
Yes.
but I wasn't being fulfilled.
Hmm.
And the only thing that really brought me joy was helping people,
Yes.
even in the streets. It was the same thing. Like,
Yes.
so for me, it was just, I wasn't doing what I felt I was purposed for.
Hmm.
And at one point, it was people that were in the streets. And I remember like the first time I had went to jail, not that I went a bunch of times,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but I was talking to the rep and he was like, "You're not supposed to be here. And there's more to you." And then people in the streets, older, would say that. And I was getting frustrated. I mean, why y'all keep saying this? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when they say God will use anybody to get a message to you,
Yes.
right? It's
No,
like
that's the
when you want to
truth.
speak to God, you go to the mountaintop. When God want to speak to you, he meet you in the valley, right?
Yes.
So I started hearing that voice and I was like, okay, well, God, if there's something more for me,
Hmm.
then let me wake up with the desire not to make this money.
Yes.
And, I prayed on it and did it and lost everything. You talk about step out on faith, like lost it all.
Yes.
And I'm looking at God like,
What?
you told me to do this for this,
Hmm.
but it was like the breakdown to build up.
Yes.
And it was in losing everything that I realized the access that God was giving me to everything. So it was just that through that process of,
Yes.
rebuilding brick by brick
And trusting him
and trusting.
through the
Yeah.
process,
Yeah.
because nobody don't like to be at their end, and in not as in crossing over death, but as they're at their end, meaning the worst of losing thing, and
Mhm.
and you know and like you it's like, wait a minute, like I was used to having this and this,
Right.
and I have nothing.
Right.
So as I tell people, with your flesh, that's
Sorry.
how we think. It's okay. So
Mhm.
in our flesh, that's how we feel. But we
Right.
have to remove the flesh and think with our spirit
Right.
and trust in God. And it's hard
Right.
for a human. It really is hard
Right.
for a human, because I came to a point when I remember I was killing myself slowly.
Mhm.
I think I was 15 when it went down.
Right.
And I was and I can honestly say at the time I was a coward, because I didn't want to commit suicide by slitting my wrist. I didn't want to
Right.
commit suicide by blowing my head off. So gang banging was one way that, okay, this is an easy way to get killed. You know what I mean?
Right,
Because I didn't want to be here at a young age.
right,
I just remember thinking at the age of 5, like, I remember feeling like I didn't belong here. You sent me to the wrong parents. You sent me, this is not what I signed up for,
right.
kind of mentality at a young age, which was so weird,
Mhm.
you know? And, um, and so I decided to say, okay, well, this is not working out. So
Right,
eating disorder,
right.
eating and throwing up. And so one day I'm, in the shower, it's hot, I have the heater on, and I haven't eaten. And I just remember that morning I had took a Snickers bar for sugar
Mm,
and just water.
mm.
And I jumped in that shower and I can feel myself going. I mean,
Spinning.
I thought I was gonna die, right? I was
Right,
like, this is it.
right.
And before I said this is it, I was like, oh, I don't want to burn in fire. So I literally like kind of like jumped out halfway from the shower, turned the thing off, and then something says open the door. So I opened the door and I fell out butt naked.
Wow.
And then my great grandfather, I
Mm,
was and my cousin, how embarrassing to this day, I'm still embarrassed. But my cousin, I can hear him screaming, Raina, Raina. And my grandfather, he was just like very quiet, Raina, Raina, wake up, Raina, wake up. And I could hear them, but it was pitch black.
mhm.
I couldn't see anything,
Right,
but I could hear them like if they were far away.
right,
And I remember waking up on the sofa with a blanket
right,
and covered up, and I can hear my great grandfather calling my mom. And so with that to say, I survived that.
right, right,
And I remember that time where I'm just like, God,
right,
I, I said, okay, game banging, I'll lose my life quick. I'm too coward to do A, B, and C. I did this and I'm still here.
right.
You know what I mean? And I didn't understand, but I just knew like with my flesh, I just wanted to just go. I just didn't have the guts to kill myself in those two ways, right?
Mm,
And but then when I started talking to God, I kind of realized that I'm meant to be here.
right,
Because there's people that were in my situation that I Googled, did research, and they died. You know what I mean?
right,
Like, boom, like, no. But I survived. So I said, okay, well, I got to figure out this purpose stuff. You got to find a purpose. You
right,
got to find something because it's like you're dead living on earth.
right.
Just dead. Just dead. And I didn't want to feel like that. So
Well, what you did was, I mean, think about it like this. It was almost like a check engine light, right?
yeah.
We don't ever take the car back. We'll let that light be on for a while.
Mm-hmm.
It's not until you start to really feel this car finna break down.
Yes.
But when the car breaks down, if you have a Benz, right? I don't know what kind of
Mm-hmm.
car you have.
My Bentley is broken.
Bentley.
Meaning like it starts and it runs, but I need
But would you
17
take
grand to fix it. So it's really broke down right now.
right? But would you take it to a Honda dealership?
Heck no. I literally took it to the Bentley dealership and paid
Why?
that $500
But why?
because I trusted them to know that they will give me the right report on the engine.
Well, they made it.
Yeah.
God made you.
Yes.
So a lot of times when we get broken,
Hmm.
we go to different people or things or substances.
Without going to God.
Who fixed you? You
Yeah.
take it to the manufacturer. When something
Yeah.
breaks that you bought, they say send it back to the manufacturer
Yes.
because that's who created it,
Yes.
right?
Hmm.
And so us as people, when we get broken, we go to all these little third
Yeah.
parties instead of going to
To the source.
the manufacturer
Hmm.
who knows how to fix you.
Yes.
And that was the big thing. Like for me,
Hmm.
I tried all these different things.
Yeah.
And he was like, when you gonna come to me?
Very powerful. So what organization or what organization that got you certified? Like, the classes, who was it? Because just in case somebody might want to do the same thing that you're doing in their state.
Well, so I sought out mentors.
Mm-hmm.
So like Eric Thomas is a huge influence in my
Yes.
life. My pastor,
Yes.
huge. But as far as the transformation coaching, I took like a couple little online courses
That's cool
and stuff
though.
like
But
that.
you know,
Yeah,
but that's important because
yeah,
we live in a world where people feel like our experience is not enough, that we need to get certified. So
yeah.
when you have a certification online class,
Right.
completing a class, it's important to those people that are
But
sticklers like
right.
that.
But the best is experience.
It is. Of course it is.
I was like, I asked my dad, like, how do I make it out of this with no, like, without being jaded?
Yeah.
And he was like, God had to place you in those hellholes so close to the fire
Hmm.
because you live in a generation when all the first thing they say is, you don't know my life, you don't know what I've been through.
Exactly.
But now you not only know where to get them or how to pull them out, but you know the language.
Yes.
And that's what people forget. Like when you know the language, because you're from the streets,
Hmm.
Inglewood, you know
Yes.
the language of the people.
Oh, yes.
So you know what they need or how to communicate to help them.
Yeah.
And communication is the number one thing in any relationship,
Yes.
business, family, intimate. So for me, it was like just really grasping that language and understanding that what I thought was a deficiency. Right,
Hmm.
I'm not a PhD. I'm not this. Was my gift.
Yes.
It was my gift.
Hmm.
And that's how I'm able to connect, right? You have to care to connect. My mom told me something this morning. She said, in order to reach the hearts of people, it has to come from your heart,
Hmm.
right? In order to reach the hearts, it has to come from the heart. So what we do, what you do, it
Hmm.
comes from your heart because your
Yes.
experience,
Yes, it does.
experience, TD Jakes.
Hmm.
And I love this saying that he said. He was like, you're going to be in rooms with people with PhDs and this and that, but what works on paper doesn't always work with people,
Yes.
right?
And that's the truth.
That's the truth. And
Yeah.
it's your experiences with people
Hmm.
that makes you effective, not a certificate or a
Yes.
paper. It's because of what's in your heart, what you've experienced, the
Yes.
pain,
Hmm.
how you turned your pain to purpose, to
Yes.
passion.
Yes.
That's why people love you.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
definitely. So then, so can you give the viewers kind of like an example of working with a client? Like,
Mhm.
what do you do? How do you do it?
So I work with a lot of entrepreneurs,
Hmm.
athletes. And so people always ask me, like, what's the difference between transformation coach and life coach? And I tell people, like, a lot of times life coaches, um, people are happy with their life. They just
Yeah,
need a few behavioral changes, prioritize. Transformation is, I want to go from this person
to
to
this
that.
person. Yeah.
And so it's more intense. It's really like, I call it the plow season,
Hmm.
sow season, water season, harvest. The plow is where it gets dirty. It's digging deep. It's digging up the rocks, the roots
Yeah.
before we plant. And so um, I love to work one on one because I just believe in like
Yes,
undivided
of
attention.
course.
You know what I mean? Most motivational speakers or a lot of people that like in that realm, we go and we have a great general message for
Yeah.
people. But when you go to the
And a big,
doctor,
huge crowd.
right?
Yeah. You pay all
But
this
if
money, you're sitting all the way in the back, and you're like, man, I wish I was in the front.
right, but when you go
Yeah.
to the doctor, right? Say you came to my office, I'm a doctor, and I just
Yes.
say, I have a neck brace for you, I have an ankle brace for you, and I have aspirin. And you're like, but none of that is hurting on me. But I'm like, well, these things are all created to benefit the body,
Hmm.
right? So it doesn't become effective. But a doctor does what? Okay, right. Where does it hurt? How long does it hurt?
Yeah.
When did it start? What were you doing when it happened? Then they can prescribe what's needed.
Yes.
So that's why I like one on one more.
Yeah.
Tell me what's wrong. Now let me give you a message or a prescription or a solution,
Yeah.
to make it work.
What would you like to role play today?
Oh, okay.
So
Okay. On the spot.
I'm
Let's
your
go.
I'm your I'm your new client, and I'm very brokenhearted a little bit that I did not win mayor. So I want to know, like,
Why were you brokenhearted?
I was brokenhearted because this has been my dream since I was 15,
Mhm.
and I came in fourth place.
Okay.
which kind of messed up my ego a little bit, right?
Right,
Yeah,
right, right,
yes, it messed up my ego because I'm like, wait a minute, I'm born and raised in England. I'm from Inglewood,
right.
and I'm number 4. What the heck? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So yeah, so my ego got touched a little bit.
Right.
And but I think more than anything was the fact that I've been dreaming for this day and it didn't come. So now I'm
Mhm.
trying to figure out what to do next.
But it did come. It's just the timing of it. A
Yes.
lot of times we get so attached to the result of something
Mm-hmm.
and not the process of something. You're still in process.
Yeah,
It's not over, but you learned something from it,
I sure did.
right?
Yes, I learned a
So
lot.
there's a win in that.
Yes.
Everything is timing. You know what I mean? So
Yes.
there may be things that you needed to learn or experience, but even in losing,
Yes.
that's just an event. It's not who you are,
Mm-hmm.
right? I think Zig Ziglar said failure is not a person, it's an event,
Yes.
right? So when you separate yourself from the result of something, like, oh, I lost. You didn't lose.
Yeah.
You got up, you ran, you campaigned. People know your name. They know
Mm-hmm.
your passion. They know your purpose. They know your service.
Yes.
It's a win. And you're still able to do it.
Okay.
As mayor,
Yes.
right? Like, would you be able to do this at this very moment? Maybe not. You may be busy doing some other things, but you're still being
No,
of
I
service.
would.
Well, yeah,
But we'll be in my office. And it's the
right,
city hall. Hey, everybody on Wednesdays for 1 hour,
right,
block that out because now I got my purpose to
right,
continue.
right. But you're
No, but I hear you. I hear you.
you're still doing it. Even the fact
Yes.
that you just said, if you were mayor, you still do this. So you're
Yes.
doing the same thing. You don't need the title to be of
Yes.
service, to be of value. It's
Yeah.
what you think about yourself that dictates your service. It's what God says about you
Yes.
that pushes your purpose. Motivation gets you going. Purpose gets you through it.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And so your purpose is still being displayed. Your service is still being given. So you're a winner,
Yeah.
not a loser.
I know what you mean because I posted that. I said I might not have won my dream,
Right.
but I'm still a winner because it does take a lot to run for office. And I still didn't know how in the heck I did it.
When's the only time you stop dreaming?
The only time I stopped dreaming?
The only time someone can stop dreaming is when they what?
Oh, when they did. Yeah.
Are you dead?
No. Mm-mm.
So you're still dreaming.
Yeah.
So if you're still dreaming, then it's still possible.
No, yeah, it is. It is. Because you know what? The next step, what I did, like when I start thinking positively,
Mhm.
I said to myself, okay, people are saying run again in 2026. And I'm all like, well, I need 100 grand to run because this year I ran on 20 grand.
Wow.
It was rough.
Wow.
It
wow.
was rough.
Wow.
It was rough.
Right.
But I did it. I don't know how I did it, but I'm assuming, it's God's
Right.
grace and favor. And then I wish I would have had 10 to 20 volunteers.
Right.
And I technically only had so there was Alliance. Alliance was about 10 people. And I know they weren't out there every day because it's volunteering.
Mhm.
But then I also had one girl or two girls that I knew that were Latino and they spoke Spanish because
Right.
I have that barrier. I don't speak Spanish.
Right.
And Inglewood is predominantly Latino.
Facts.
And so those two women saved my life in that situation of, being able
Right.
to, when we knock on the door and the Latino family speak English, I'm good. I can talk normal.
Right. Right.
And if there's this, me habla español, and I'm like, oh, okay, espérame. And I'm like, come here,
Right.
And so I'm grateful for what I had. I just now I know I need more if I plan. So 100 grand, 10 to 20 volunteers I will need. And of course, endorsements, right?
Right.
You know what I mean? Then I can go forward. But I know if I can't get that 100 grand, I
But-
can't
but
get those
look at the-
volunteers,
look
it's
at what
kind
you
of
just
hard to
said.
run again.
But look what you said. You're more prepared now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
The human brain is so powerful that when you have an idea,
Yes.
please edit all that out. Sorry.
Oh, that's gonna be in there. It's okay.
Sorry.
We're all human. We're all human. And we're
Sorry.
in the season of, runny
No,
nose,
but-
coughs, colds. So
but I
it's
mean,
normal.
like the human brain is so powerful. Like if I say, I have an idea, let's go to the beach.
Yeah.
Your brain is automatically going to start saying, I need a towel, cooler,
Yeah.
beach shorts, bathing suit. It begins to put the pieces together.
Yes.
So now you're more experienced.
Mhm.
And probably when you run next time, you're going to use this as a platform and a catapult to say, I could have gave up. I never gave up on the city, and the city never
Yeah.
gave up on me. And you'll take this situation, right? And you'll use it in your favor. When they say, God, all things work together for your good, right? When you
Mhm.
really start to think like that, okay, God, what was I supposed to learn from this campaign? Tell me what the
Yes.
next one. Also, now this time I have the story of most people in the city. How many of you have dreamt of something
Yeah.
and it didn't happen and you got close? But sometimes God will just provoke you and get you close enough to let you know that it's possible.
Yeah.
Randy, you're there. Your name was on the ballot. Your
Yeah.
things are here.
Yes.
Okay, now I've provoked you, but now I want you to take that, right, and begin to water that these next
Yes.
few years. And you're going to tell this story about how people told you, see, you shouldn't have ran, you wasted money. And you know
Mhm.
what? Instead of 20,000, I came back and raised 100.
Yeah.
Instead of 5, 10 people, I got 20.
Yes.
I learned that all things work together for my good. Now I see what I needed.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
And you're going to use it for your good.
Yeah.
This experience was supposed to happen.
Yeah, yes. That's what I'm soaking in now.
95% of
Yeah.
Inglewood has your story
Yeah.
of wanting something and not getting it. That makes you real. It makes you relatable.
Yes, definitely.
If you don't have a story, then what are I attached to?
Yeah.
Right? Where's the mountain? So when you pray, you talk to God, and God says, I honor the bold prayer, right?
Yes.
So your bold prayer is, God, I don't just need 20,000. I need 100,000,
Yes.
right? Don't give me enough to get me over the hump. God, give me enough to get me over the mountain,
Yes.
right? The bold prayer is, I'm winning it next time. I need 100,000. I need
Yes.
25 people working. I need Asian speakers. I need
Yeah.
Latino speakers. I need, you know what I mean?
Yes. All in
And
between.
so you have it, So this experience was designed for you. You know what I mean? So you just have
Yes.
to don't lose sight of the vision.
Yeah.
Don't lose sight of the dream. That's what the enemy does. He
Yeah.
tries to kill it early.
I was I
Yeah.
was really I was thinking that way, like, okay, this is it. Like, I'm done.
Yeah.
I was done. Like, literally, I was done. Like, I'm okay. At least I ran. That's what I said. I wanted to run
Right.
for mayor, and that's it. But then it was a bunch of other people saying, "Nah, you need to run again. Like,
Right.
we want to see you. You are our mayor. We want to see you mayor." And so I just, reflected on that, and I said, "Okay, God, we're in 2000. We're about to go into 2023, 24, 25, 26.
Right.
So I have this time to this time to figure out how I'm going to get back to
Right.
where I was before running for office."
Mhm.
So then it was like one person sent me no, I'm sorry, three people sent me the Hope application. It's like Hispanic of a political whatever. It's for Latinas,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
And they put you in the political arena, and you got to get accepted in, right?
Right.
And so I applied for that. So they say December 18th, you'll get an email if you got accepted or not. In my heart, I feel I'm going to get accepted
Right.
because I know God wants me to experience a journey.
Right.
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 And then it was two people that sent me the ADDEM, which is like the Democrat, party organization. And it says state assembly delegate.
Okay.
And when I looked at District 61, which is pretty interesting, and that's why I applied for it. At first, I was like, I don't want to do this. I wanted to be mayor. What the heck I'm going to do this for? But then when I looked at the map, I seen the map. The map says you cover Inglewood, you cover Lenox.
Oh, wow.
You cover, I believe, Hawthorne and Lawndale.
Ooh.
I think it's called West Athens and Westmont. Then there's a little bit of Westchester, Playa del Rey, and Marina del Rey, and a little piece of Venice. So Venice, I'm not very familiar with, but I love to learn and meet people, right? I'm a people person. But the rest of it, I all have experiences there, childhood memories, friends that live there currently, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
or clients because I do life insurance, financial services.
Love it.
So I looked at that map and I said, okay, so it's just not Inglewood, but it's a bunch of cities.
Expanded your territory.
I said,
look at that.
I think I'm going to do this. And I submitted my application. And, I'm number 3 on the list. I think it's more than 11 people that applied for this. And I said, okay, God, if it's meant for me to be here, I'll get it. Mm-hmm. And then one of my union friends says, well, you know what? The lady that you went to go volunteer for, Miss Tina McKenna, she's over, she is the state assembly member of that district. And it clicked. And I'm like, oh my gosh, wait a minute. I helped her because I voted for her twice. I wanted, to see her in office. It's always amazing to see women of color in office, just women in general, but women of color, of course. And then now this application gets pushed to me to 2 different people to me through the email. And then I noticed that this is Tina McKenna. So I reached out to her like the union rep told me to and said, reach out to her to see if she can put you on her slate. Right. Because if she can put you on her slate, you're automatically going to get a good vote. Oh, wow. Because that means she's supporting you, and people that are in a high office that supports you by putting you on the slate is automatically, endorsement. Like I'm endorsing, yes. And so I reached out to her. I didn't get a response, but at least I made that effort to try at least. And so now I just leave it on the table. And then somebody sent me to be a commissioner for probation. So I haven't filled that application out yet, but I'm going to do it this weekend. Right. But it's so weird because I'm just like, people are just saying, here you go. And I'm just like, this is weird because nobody's never done this before, right? It's
throwing it to you.
So now I'm like, okay, this is happening for a reason. Right. So now I'm just going to just go ahead and take these opportunities and see whatever God gives me, I'll take. Right. Because obviously it's for the next step. And, God willingly, whatever I decide to do or whatever God puts in my life between 2023 and 2025, I have probably in my mind already made connections, can find endorsements, can find that $100,000 and can find those volunteers. Right. So then I can run in 2026.
Well, he's expanded your territory.
Yes. Because that was interesting when I looked at the map.
He's bringing you more resources.
Yes.
So the purpose was bigger. Yeah. And I love to be a testament of like fighting through it. Sometimes shit just happens in life.
Yeah. You know what I mean? And you got to fight through it.
You know what I mean? And, but being here meant more, because of the energy, the vibe,
definitely.
And the message.
And you got to see the real Raina before the cameras turned on.
And I just believe like, if you really want to do something, then put in the effort to do it.
Yes.
Like, it goes to the person that's willing to get up. Like I had to ask myself,
yes,
you gave me an out and said, do you want to do this via Zoom?
Yes.
My thing, I had to ask myself, if you really want to do this, are you willing to get up and drive?
Yes.
Are you willing to be there?
Which is not crazy. So what's another word for crazy like that? And that's deep because you came from Las Vegas to LA. You know what I mean? Like,
but are you willing? The question is always, are you willing?
That's why I said I respect you.
Yeah.
I'm just like, wow.
Yeah. So my thing was like, you can't say that you want this.
Yeah.
You can't say that you live this.
Yes.
If you're not willing to go.
Yes.
If you're not willing to fight through.
Yes.
Whatever you're feeling to be there, then don't. All that talking you do when you walk in and on your Instagram, get up and go. Yes. No matter how you're feeling. Because every show's not going to be your best show. Every time's not going to be your best feeling, you know. But I wanted to finish. I wanted to be here.
Yes.
And hopefully I can get another chance to come back.
Yes. We'll get it. We'll get a part 2. We'll get a part 2.
Yeah, a part 2 for sure.
So I have a question. How can our viewers find you on social media or a website so they can contact you?
Well, I keep everything concurrent and uniform. So you can find me at mattsantostc.com Matt Santos TC, at Instagram, Facebook. So it's MattSantos, T for transformation, C for coach. And that's how you can find me. I do this for the person that um, doesn't feel their best at achieving something, that doesn't feel their best,
Yes.
so they don't pursue it. And I hope that even in the midst of the coughing, in the midst of not feeling well for a quick second, that you can still get up and finish. And so, I'm just thankful for this opportunity to be here and just to power through
Yes.
it. I will use this as a tool in my preparation,
Yes.
and as a story of overcoming.
Well, the story for me is the fact that you came. You know what I mean? You came, and that's so important.
Right.
Because it's easy to cancel on the phone.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And me growing up in the streets, being a man of your word is so important, or being a woman of your word is so important.
Yeah, that's what we come up in.
And then also, even though how you feel and what you're going through, but you still arrived, you showed up. And that's why I respect you. And I know for a fact that if my tire popped in Las Vegas, you would be the first person I would call.
Absolutely. And I'll be there.
And I know that's what I'm saying. I can already know that you're a dependable person just by first meeting you for the first time.
And if not, I got AAA. I got an executive AAA, FaceTime work, make it happen. But definitely forward thinking. And I'm there for you. Maybe we get a sponsorship from Halls after this.
Yes. Halls, where you at?
Where you at? Ricola.
Ricola.
We can use Ricola. So anyway, make light of it.
Yes, no, I love it. I love it because it makes me feel comfortable. You're comfortable. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm laughing, because it's funny because you're making it funny.
Yeah.
Usually when it's not funny and you're just quiet.
It is what it is.
It's like you're waiting for the crickets.
Let me tell you something. I had to go in the mirror in the bathroom. I said, listen, get it together.
Get it together.
You know what I mean?
Well,
finish.
You got it together. And, you're here right now. And I'm just happy that you share with the viewers where they can find you. Mm-hmm. And, I'm just very grateful. Thank you for coming on Purpose and Passion. Today, we educated you, we empowered you, and we taught you awareness. Thank you, everyone. Hope you have a blessed day.
Glutathione is a big word. It's the body's own master antioxidant. It's a scavenger for free radical, bacteria, and viruses. There are no products in the market with the ingredient NACET. NACET increases the production of glutathione that's in our body already to strengthen and enhance our immune system, elevate sense of well-being, support muscle strength and endurance, cognitive function, and liver support. It helps with increased energy and blood sugar regulation. Get your bottle of GSH Plus from www.salvationnutra.com.